So thanks. Let's build on this very quickly. Joanne, if I can start with you, what did you hear in the previous panel that was aha, something that you think really will help Montgomery move forward? New microphone system.
Thank you. So in terms of an aha, I would say that what I heard was people talking about the collaboration and the connection, and for me, having that business voice as part of the conversation is really important. What I see as the value of Montgomery moving forward is really elevating this issue, because frankly, this has been a women's issue for a long time. The workforce in early care and education is women. It's been predominantly the moms of families having to struggle with finding out solutions. And I think if we could change that conversation and really commit to the value of this work, of growing children's brains at an early age and really shifting it. Pre-K is great. Universal pre-K would be wonderful. But we really need to start at infant and toddler care, because that's where we're going to make the biggest difference.
Do you want to build on that? What were the aha moments that you heard, things that you think we should kind of try to develop and unpeel a little bit more?
I think it's also recognizing the business leaders, not only as investors, but influencers. Business leaders have significant political capital, and leveraging that to move early agendas forward, as well as the emphasis on quality, the return on investments. All of the research previously cited were based on high quality early learning, not just care. And so making sure that as we make the investments, we're investing in high quality early learning.
We oftentimes learn from things that are working really well elsewhere. You have a national perspective. Are there things that we should be looking at where you see a lot of this great partnership and collaboration between all the sectors that are represented in the room here?
Correct. So it's definitely the systems approach. I will definitely acknowledge that this is the first time we've been invited to such meetings where from the onset we have all of the key stakeholders engaged. Looking at the participants list, you rarely talk to this cross-sector group, and so you've sort of started on the right foot, as well as the focus on the early childhood and education workforce. It is often that we have these conversations and don't specifically think about the adults in the classroom, and those educators, investing in those educators singularly is sort of the most predictive element of quality. And so as we talk about quality in the workforce, let's not forget the early childhood educators as part of that.
I was talking earlier to someone from Trinity College, which has very robust 2-year and 4-year programs, a lot of interest in this, and a lot of those folks who live here in Montgomery County where that investment really is paying off in terms of the education. Let me ask you, David, sort of what you saw in the previous panel. There was a lot of talk about the economic imperative, the partnership with business. Is there enough that is tangible here, you think, to move forward on?
Yeah, I think the key is, and it's been resonated throughout the day, is that we need to take action after today. It can't be merely about talking about the challenges, but all of us working together to solve some of these challenges on early childhood education. When you look at why a business will be successful in Montgomery County or come to Montgomery County, it's really about talent. There's a study done by Area Development Magazine that ranks the top 25 motivators for a business expansion or a company to move. And we always talk about incentives, we talk about quality of life, we talk about what the building looks like and location, but really the availability of skilled talent is consistently number one in that reason for a company to expand or relocate to our location. Number two would be highway accessibility, and then the third is the affordability of that labor, but it's consistently the quality of our people that will drive economic development. As I've shared with my workforce partner, I think Ellie is here somewhere in the room, Ellie and I will be working hand in hand in telling the economic development story. And really, in Montgomery County, the economic development story is the talent development story. So I look to work with many of the businesses that I'm here with. One of the things that I'm taking away is my ability to reach out to private business. Since I've been here for 10 weeks, I think I've had about 250 individual meetings. I'm tracking about 5 a day. So if my math is right, I'm about 250. But I have the unique ability to meet with not only chambers, but associations, service groups, private businesswomen, private businessmen to tell this story. And I'm going to carry many copies of this green sheet with me to make sure people get engaged.
Great. And President Pollard, you probably see it from both ends. You see it in terms of the students that are coming into Montgomery College, but also you see it in terms of the students you're trying to prepare to be part of this workforce. What were the things that you heard in the previous panel that you think are actionable, should be developed further, and some of the particular challenges that you actually see every day in your student population?
Thank you so much, and thank you to MMF for the opportunity to respond, because that makes you a better listener during a panel such as this. Seriously, that you really have to focus on what's happening here. And a few of you have heard me say in other spaces this quote that's really resonated with me over the last couple of years, that in the end, a true society, a civilized society, will be evaluated based on how it treats its least, its last, and its littlest. And that strikes me because I think Montgomery County has a distinctive legacy in responding to these populations. But I wonder, how do we, and I took away from this panel, in a time when we are most challenged, how do we ensure that we don't lose ground in this space where we are more competitive, more diverse, less stable, more globalized, more networked, yet less connected, and then less resourced, just simply because there are more things out there? How do we do that, and to have that peace of mind that what our host talked about today, and all of our elected officials and others? How do we put all of these things together? So for me, I think that I took away powerfully for me this call to action. I think we do have an exceptional ability to talk about things, and I am more and more convinced of how do we start moving that. So in the spirit of Montgomery College's 70th anniversary, I won't give you 70 steps, but 7 specific commitments that I'm making for Montgomery College in this space as a result of this panel. One is that we're going to own and expand in our core competency of strategically and exponentially producing a diverse, compassionate, culturally competent, and highly talented workforce to move into early child care and early care spaces, number one. Our second commitment, we are going to own, name, deconstruct, and close the achievement gap that exists in higher education. The narrative has been that this is one only in the K-12 space. The achievement gap just goes to the next level. So we have been systematically doing that to create an environment where we can achieve the promise for all. That's our second commitment. Third, we're going to disrupt poverty and advance economic empowerment via a comprehensive workforce system, and be an active and leading partner in that with our partners that we mentioned earlier to do that work. Fourth, I love Manny, and I'm going to steal this one. We make a commitment to pay a living wage for our employees, plain and simple. Number 5, we're going to partner with MCPS and USG to advance the pipeline from K to jobs, from kindergarten to jobs, through high impact, high quality, and innovative programs and services. We've been doing that. I think there's an intensity to this work that we can bring now. 6, we're going to ensure information and access to this new early system that we develop here for our students and our employees. We have to do that as a part of our onboarding and making sure that all employees and students understand what the resources are of this phenomenal community. And probably number 7, in the most real sense of everything that's happening right now, is that I commit to Montgomery College just to stay woke.
To stay?
Stay woke.
Mm-hmm. So if I can potentially maybe add an 8th. I was invited this past year to speak to a television communications class at Montgomery College. I have to tell you that in that hour I spent with them, I worked hard to tell those students everything I'd learned in 30 years of working in television journalism. The ability for the business community as a resource to come and, work with your students in that kind of a mentoring, teaching, just life-sharing experience, I think is also a great business connection potentially that you could be looking at, and formalizing something, because I know that teachers do all of that informally, but I think something like that could probably be formalized.
I'm adding number 8 to the list.
So it looks like I'm getting the wrap here on our responders. I had a whole other round for you guys, but I know that you'll have a chance to hear from the superintendent and then also to interact informally afterwards with a lot of these great ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.